You know that feeling when you can't focus anymore? When reading feels harder? When your mind just wanders? You probably blamed yourself, told yourself you need more discipline, more willpower. But what if I told you it's not your fault at all? What if the real problem is that you're running 2026 software on hardware from 10,000 BC? Stay with me, because what I'm about to show you explains everything you've been feeling. Here's something that'll blow your mind. Your brain right now, the one processing these words, is running on the same basic operating system it had thousands of years ago. Same core wiring, same fundamental reward systems, same basic architecture. But the world you're navigating, it changed faster than evolution ever could. And here's the scary part. That gap isn't dramatic. You don't wake up one day and realize it. It's quiet, gradual, creeping. And by the time you notice, you've already spent years with mental fatigue, scattered attention, and this constant, nagging feeling that your mind never fully settles. So let me ask you something, and be honest. When's the last time you read a full article without checking your phone? When's the last time you stayed with one thought all the way through without your mind drifting? When's the last time you finished a task completely before jumping to the next one? If you're struggling to answer, you're not alone. And here's what's wild. This isn't happening because you're getting dumber or losing willpower. Something else is going on, something most people don't understand. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Every single time your attention shifts, even for just a second, your brain has to do something expensive. It has to disengage from task A, shut down those neural pathways, then boot up completely different pathways for task B. That process? It's not free. It burns mental energy. And here's the kicker. Research shows that after an interruption, it can take over 20 minutes to fully re-enter a focused state. 20 minutes. Now think about your day. How many times did you switch tasks today? Check your phone during work? Glance at a notification during a conversation? Start one thing and immediately think about another? Each time equals another 20-minute reset. By the end of the day, you haven't actually focused on anything. You've been in partial attention mode for 12 straight hours. Always alert, never immersed, and here's where it gets darker. Your brain is adaptive, incredibly adaptive. It strengthens the pathways you use most. It weakens the ones you don't. So when you spend all day switching, that's what your brain gets good at. Deep focus. That pathway starts to atrophy. Not because your brain is broken, not because you're damaged, but because you're training it every single day to be a task-switching machine instead of a deep-thinking machine. And that's just the beginning. Because there's another system in your brain that's being hijacked even worse. And this one explains why you can't stop checking. Let me tell you what dopamine actually is, because most people get this wrong. Dopamine is not the pleasure chemical. It's the anticipation chemical, the motivation chemical. It's what makes your brain go, ooh, something interesting might happen. Let's find out. This system evolved for survival, for hunting, for problem solving, for seeking food and connection. Your ancestors' brains released dopamine when they were tracking prey, exploring new territory, connecting with their tribe. Notice what all those have in common? Uncertainty, effort, meaningful reward. Now look at your phone, notifications, infinite scroll, red badges. Someone liked your post, new message, trending now. Every single one is engineered to trigger that exact dopamine response. But here's the evil genius part. Digital rewards don't give you completion, they give you possibility. Something might happen. Someone might have messaged. There might be something interesting. Each check triggers anticipation without resolution, and because digital rewards are fast, unlimited, and always available, your brain never gets a natural stopping point. You finish scrolling Instagram? Cool, here's TikTok. Done with that? Check your texts, email, Twitter, Reddit. There's always another hit. Meanwhile, real activities, reading a book, having a conversation, working on a project, these give slower, deeper rewards. They start to feel boring by comparison. Not because they're meaningless, but because your brain has adapted to expecting rewards every 10 seconds instead of every 10 minutes. And once again, this isn't a moral failure. This is basic neurobiology responding to its environment. But wait, It gets worse. Your brain has a limited fuel tank. Every message, every headline, every notification, every update. Each one requires a tiny decision. Is this important? Should I remember it? Do I need to respond? Should I click this? Your brain doesn't perfectly filter what matters and what doesn't. It just processes everything that appears. By noon, you've already made thousands of micro decisions, and that creates something called decision fatigue, a real, measurable drop in mental efficiency. This is why thinking feels harder at 4 p.m. than 9 a.m. Why choosing what to eat for dinner feels impossible. Why your brain defaults to scrolling instead of doing anything that requires effort. It's not laziness, it's cognitive overload. Your brain is exhausted from decisions you didn't even know you were making. Here's an uncomfortable truth. What you call multitasking is actually rapid task switching, and you're bad at it. Not just you, everyone. Humans in general. Studies show that frequent multitaskers are worse at filtering distractions, worse at switching tasks efficiently, worse at maintaining focus. Wait, worse at the thing they practice most? Exactly, your prefrontal cortex. The CEO of your brain can only direct attention to one complex task at a time. 1. When you force it to constantly redirect, performance doesn't just drop a little, it crashes. You're not getting more done, you're doing everything worse and burning twice the mental energy to do it. So let's add this up. You're training your brain for shallow attention instead of deep focus. You're adapting to expect constant rewards, making real work feel boring. You're burning your decision-making fuel on meaningless micro-choices. You're multitasking yourself into worse performance on everything. Now, think about what you want to do with your life. Write something meaningful? Requires deep focus. Build something valuable? Requires sustained attention. Learn something complex? Requires undistracted study. Have real conversations? Requires being present. Every single goal you have requires the exact cognitive abilities that modern life is systematically destroying. That's not hyperbole, that's neuroscience. But here's the beautiful part. The same adaptability that got you into this mess can get you out. Your brain is plastic. It rewires based on what you do, which means the pathways for deep focus, they're not gone. They're just weak, and they can be strengthened. The dopamine system, it can recalibrate. It just needs time without the artificial hits. Decision fatigue? It can be managed by reducing unnecessary choices. Task switching? It can be replaced with single tasking. None of this requires superhuman willpower. It requires understanding the system you're working with and making structural changes, not just trying harder. So what does that look like practically? First, protect your attention like it's money, because it is. It's more valuable than money. Create spaces where task switching is impossible. Phone in another room, notifications off. One browser tab, your brain will protest at. First, that's withdrawal. Push through. Second, rebuild your reward system. Go on a dopamine fast from the artificial hits, even just for a weekend. No infinite scroll, no constant checking, no just one quick look. Let your brain remember what natural rewards feel like. Reading will start to feel engaging again. Conversations will feel richer. Work will feel more satisfying. Third, reduce decision load. Automate everything you can. Same breakfast, same workout time, same work routine. Save your decision-making fuel for things that actually matter. Fourth, single task like your results depend on it, because they do, one thing at a time, all the way through, then the next thing, not because it's virtuous, because it literally produces better outcomes in less time. I'm not going to lie to you, the first week of this will feel weird. Your brain will scream for stimulation. You'll feel bored, anxious, like you're missing out. That's the adaptation fighting back. That's your brain realizing the artificial reward spigot has been turned off, and it will beg you to turn it back on. But here's what happens if you push through. Week 2, you'll notice you can read longer. Week 3, you'll finish tasks that have been sitting incomplete for months. Week 4, you'll have ideas again, real ideas, not just recycled fragments from your feed. Month 2, people will start commenting on how present you seem. Month 3, you'll wonder how you ever lived the other way. Look, I'm not saying go live in a cave. Technology isn't evil. Modern life has incredible advantages, but we're the first generation trying to navigate this environment. We're the experiment, and the results are in letting modern technology use us instead of us using IT. Destroys the very cognitive abilities we need most. You have an ancient brain. That's not changing. But you can create a modern environment that works with it, not against it. You can reclaim your attention. You can rebuild your focus. You can train your brain for depth instead of distraction. The question is, will you? Or will you keep running that ancient operating system on a modern world that's slowly grinding it into dust? The choice is yours. But now, you can't say you didn't know. If this opened your eyes, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want more truth about how your brain actually works, see you in the next one.